Hello, my name is Michael Pfaltzgraff, and I'm a Division Chief with the Arundel County Fire Department, currently responsible for the Training and Research Division. My thesis is titled The Stress of Silence, Evaluating the Stress Induced by Tactical Silence During Firefighter Mayday Evolutions. The Arundel County Fire Department is a combination fire department on the western shore of the Chesapeake Bay, just south of Baltimore City, Maryland. We have approximately 1,500 uniformed personnel. As part of the recruit training program, we teach the Maryland Fire and Rescue Institute, or MFRE, Firefighter Survival and Rescue Program, which includes self-rescue in Mayday situations. In the fire service, Mayday is a term used for a firefighter in a life-threatening situation who is lost, disoriented, trapped, injured, low on air, or unable to exit a hazardous environment. This thesis evaluated the use of tactical silence as a stressor during Mayday training in the Anne Arundel County Recruit Academy. Across the United States, more than 18,000 Mayday incidents were reported between 2015 and 2021, an average of 1 every 3 hours. Poor or impaired decision-making was cited as a critical factor in 75% of these events reported to Project Mayday. Almost one-half of successful Mayday rescues were accomplished by the firefighter in distress. Time becomes a critical factor in Mayday situations due to the changing nature of fire. Decades ago, legacy construction techniques prior to the mid-1980s utilized dimensional lumber and compartmentalized designs for residential structures. In the mid-1980s, however, lightweight construction using lighter weight, more cost-effective engineered materials for faster construction became popular. The strength-to-weight ratios of these new materials allowed for significant increases in open floor plans, along with taller ceilings and two-story great rooms and foyers. Between 1973 and 2008, the average home increased in size by 73%, and the number of two-story residential homes more than doubled in the United States. These changes in construction, along with the changes in furnishings, have contributed to a decrease in time to flashover in residential structure fires from more than 30 minutes to less than 4 minutes. In order to survive, firefighters in a Mayday situation must make accurate decisions quickly with limited information. Rapid decision-making in stressful situations relies on recognition prime decision-making, or RPDM. RPDM is an intuitive, naturalistic process in which a person compares their current situation to their past experiences to make decisions. Recruit firefighters have a limited set of experiences on which to base these decisions when they leave the academy. The function and use of training structures necessitates concrete or steel buildings which are not easily reconfigured, and limitations on types of materials ignited for training leads to experiences which do not accurately reflect the operational environment. In the past, the lack of variety in training was somewhat compensated with on-the-job training in the field. According to the National Fire Protection Association, overall call volume in the United States has more than tripled in the last 30 years. In the same period, the incidence of fires has decreased by more than 50%. These numbers contribute to decreasing the amount of on-the-job training conducted. Firefighters are running less fires and spending much more time on other responses, reducing the amount of time for training. This places much more reliance on basic training programs conducted while firefighters are at the academy. During basic training, firefighters are rarely, if ever, alone. Instructors are constantly present throughout training to provide direction, guidance, and support, and ensure the safety of trainees. Much like the fires presented in the training environment, this is not respective of the operational environment. In a Mayday situation, a firefighter could become lost or separated from their crew and have to figure out how to rescue themselves on their own. The Lazarus appraisal theory describes the comparative evaluation of stressors to personal resources. When resources are found to be sufficient, an individual is in a challenge state and faces the stressor. When they are found to be insufficient, however, the threat state is encountered and the individual exhibits a fight, flight, or freeze response. Trainees are never confronted with appraising their own resources because of the presence of instructors, and the trainees rely on the instructor to prevent them from harm. This appraisal process and response has to be done in a highly stressful, chaotic, and rapidly changing environment. Similar professions that operate in high-stress environments with high consequences for poor decision-making include aircraft pilots, astronauts, law enforcement, and the military. Many of these professions have included stress exposure training, or SET, into their training programs. Research has shown introduction of stressors in training improves performance. A variety of stressors have been examined, including fire, smoke, and cold water exposure. None of these stressors are practical for inclusion in the fire service training environment. 2 research questions were evaluated in this thesis. First, how is trainee firefighter performance affected by the use of tactical silence? Secondly, how is perceived level of stress affected by tactical silence? Participants were volunteers from an Anne Arundel County Fire Department Recruit Academy class and were recruited in accordance with NPS IRB protocol. All individuals completed the MIFRE Firefighter 1, Firefighter 2, and Firefighter Survival and Rescue courses prior to participating in this study. Study participants navigated a combined skills evolution comprised of individual elements taught during the Survival and Rescue course. During the course, all participants wore full structural firefighting protective personal equipment and self-contained breathing apparatus. In addition, each recruit was provided with a wireless monitor to track heart rate throughout the course. Prior to entering the course, participants' masks were covered with a smoked-out series face shield to obscure their vision, similar to operating in a smoky environment. Participants were divided randomly into an experimental group and control group. Both groups navigated the same course. The control group was coached and guided by an instructor, while the experimental group received no support from the instructors, tactical silence. The obstacles encountered included a floor collapse prop, confined passageways, entanglement hazards, ceiling collapse, and a wall breach. Time to complete was tracked for all participants, as well as heart rate. On a later date, both groups navigated a reconfigured version of the evolution with tactical silence for both groups. During the first attempt, the control group finished the course in an average of 18 minutes, while the group without instructor support finished in an average of 26 minutes, almost 8 minutes longer than the control group. Data analysis found this difference to be statistically significant. On their second attempt, where both groups received no support, the control group finished in an average of 16.3 minutes, while the experimental group finished in less than 15 minutes. The improvement in time for the experimental group was also found to be statistically significant. The control group did not show statistically significant improvement, and the difference between the 2 groups on the second attempt was not significant. Analysis of the heart rate data did not show any significant differences. Had these firefighters been facing a mayday situation on an active structural fire, the 8-minute difference could have been the difference between life and death. The group who operated in tactical silence on the first scenario showed significant improvement when presented with a similar yet different scenario on their second attempt. This research supports the inclusion of training scenarios where firefighters are required to operate without instructor support and conduct an appraisal of their own personal resources. This must be done to build experiences which can be used in the RPDM process in chaotic, time-critical decision-making. This research focused on the effects of tactical silence in recruit firefighter training. Future research should evaluate the effectiveness of stress inoculation training used in similar professions and its applicability for inclusion in the fire service to enhance firefighter survival in mayday situations.